So, welcome to the Plagued International Mythic Plus Tournament Season 2. I'm Jack. With me today is first Extravaganza champion Rodrigo. We have last hero. He was also a champion in the first Extravaganza. Also, we have with us another champion, Jonesing, Honest Hunter. And we're going to go over the PIMP-2 draft. First talking point is the brothers. They finally are on a team together, Victoria and Indrani. So I'll kick it off to Artie. We'll just kind of go around. What are your thoughts on this team, Nerds Unite, and how are the brothers being on a team going to make an impact in this tournament?
Well, first of all, Jack, thanks for having me here. It's always a pleasure to be part of these reports. The brothers have been dying to be teamed up with one another since the beginning of time. I believe they first met whenever they were 10 years old as twins, and from that moment forward, they've been doing everything together, from dating the same girls to sleeping in the same bed, and even playing the same WoW in ways that they can complement one another. We just saw we just saw it earlier this week, where all all Victoria had to say was now, and you see him flying across the room because Indrani gripped him. That chemistry, you don't learn that overnight. You learn that through countless days of spending time together, hating one another, loving one another. That that chemistry is going to make an impact in this tournament. Following that up with a veteran player in Zalov, one of our officers, one of our strongest DPS players, especially whenever he turns it on, and Menix, just a studly rogue. The star power in that team is unfortunately overshadowed by the brothers.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I had the opportunity to run with Allegis, the team captain Kev, and he's come a long way on his hunter. I expect to see really big damage from him. Rodrigo, what do you think?
Well, I have seen Victoria and Indrani doing keys together, and the synergy is really good. You can see on this group some different grips that we are not used to see in normal keys. They can jump off ledge and he just grip him off, and the obelisk snap to him. It's a different thing that he can do, and no one else will be able to work like that with this synergy.
That's a really good point. And I've seen them doing 20s together now. You were saying earlier, I think.
Yeah, I did some keys with Victoria, and he's really decent tank. He's really good. I feel like he's one of the most powerful tanks in the guild, and playing with his brother will be really hard on this competition.
Mm-hmm. Jonesing, did you have anything you want to add to talk about Nerds Unite?
I mean, more so it's like definitely
I
He
think
seems
we
to be
lost.
having some technical difficulties with Johnson.
what the shit. Hello?
You're there.
Okay. I was like, I thought I was freaking muted at first. But so I've had my like a decent amount of time, one playing with both of them, and two just talking to them, and yeah, the synergy is definitely there. I mean, playing with your brother is, and you said they were twins.
Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah, they're twins. That's crazy. So I mean, like, because me and my brother used to raid, in a top 50 guild back in Wrath, and me and him just synergized very well on min maxing and communicating just in general and stuff. And so I can only imagine for twins being in the same group for a competition like it's gonna be huge. It's definitely gonna give them an upper hand in communication for especially tank and healer, which the affixes that are going to be present are going to be the
Mhm.
most detrimental. Healing and tanking, like that's what's gonna make or break a lot of the keys. I feel like, so if you have that communication, then keys should go pretty smoothly. And honestly, those two were picks that I was hoping for. If I didn't have really, I mean, I got Guzzle. I do 21s, 22s with Guzzle and stuff, and we're the last tournament's champions or whatnot, and so it's like obviously the synergy is there with the communication and stuff like that.
Right.
But still, if I wanted one of them, I would want both of them. So I definitely think they're gonna be strong.
I feel like in most teams there is a power combo, right? You've got Kural and myself on a team. I know you got Sam and Sidari on a team. I know you've got, Argush and Small Girl on a team. It's like each team has these power couples in some kind of way that they've played together or they've worked together.
Mm.
Kind of interesting. So
Yeah.
I just want to go back real quick. We should mention the affixes for next week are going to be Necrotic, Raging, Tyrannical, and Awaken. So, it's all tank and healer stuff, as you're saying.
Yeah, as long as the communication is there between the tank and the healer, and when to kite, when to not kite, or how big to pull is really gonna make and break a lot of these teams. It's gonna make the difference whether or not of the pace of the key itself.
Right. I want to talk about Team Ray Charles, and not just the Team Ray Charles, but the man himself who is due to redeem himself, Debrin Cat. That was one of Corral's big picks. I know Corral wanted a hunter, and I know Debrin Cat has come a long way since facing off against you, Jonesing, in the final match of the first season of the PIMP-T. You guys probably didn't even know it, that a member of the other team had gotten lost at the time. You guys were neck and neck, just pushing hard. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes together.
No, definitely. Well, and we had no idea, but at the same time, like on for our team, Shogun, our healer, got lost.
Really?
Yeah, so after we had wiped, we had actually pulled too much from the courtyard after Pig Boss, I can't remember his name, Raoul or whatever.
Yeah.
So we had accidentally pulled too much. We tried to save the pull, didn't work. And so we wiped, and when we ran back, Shogun had gotten lost. So both me and Spooky had light-footed back and tried to find him. And so we found him, and we were like, dude, no, go this way, go this way, go this way. And then came back to where we previously were and continued from there. But
Right.
yeah, it's funny just how it worked out for both teams. Like, we both had someone get lost. We both had minor issues happen or whatnot during both of our matches. We had Guzzle get disconnected.
I didn't know that.
He wasn't in the game for the first about 45 seconds to a minute, like during the first two polls that we did in Toldagor against Rodrigo's team.
Oh my god!
Let's
yeah,
talk.
So it's crazy.
Do you know Druid Shogun?
I do not. So when Guzzle had put together the team, he just wasn't really super available. I think we had just kind of thrown him straight into 18s and 19s, and he had never done it before, and he handled it really well. And as a tank for me, especially on a non-fortified on a demon hunter, it's like I'm very go, and he handled it really well. He was panicking, but he handled it really well. So
he seemed like a strong healer.
Yeah, I can't remember what team got him, but I mean he's definitely a strong pick, for sure. At least.
So both these guys, Debrin Cat and Druid Shogun, are on the same team, Ray Charles. and they both got lost in Waycrest Manor.
Yeah. hoping you guys don't get Waycrest Manor.
Yeah. I want to ask Rodrigo, and then we'll move on to Artie. What you guys think of the 2 Hunter comp in Ray Charles?
Well, two hunters is always good. Hunters bring really strong, constant DPS on this game right now, on this patch, and this comp works really good at all.
Do you think there's going to be a problem with interrupts at some point?
Well, since it's not that high key and the damage now it's pretty high, there will be not time for obs cast interrupts. So
Good point.
I'm hoping the fastest pulls that we ever had, because the ethics allow that. We can have big pulls, burn cooldowns, and clear way fast than the other tournament that we had before.
Yeah. Artie?
I personally believe that Mr. Ray Charles, Debrin Cat, he has the potential to unfortunately let something like that happen again, but he has the will to not let it happen again. Before, uh, he got thrown into a group that had a lot of chemistry already, worked very well together without having to command one another. So he was the outsider, a novice to dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, he's coming into yet another group of players who play quite often together between yourself and Kural. Um, Druid Shogun, I think he's learned plenty from working in the last PIMP-T tournament with Jonesy and Guzzle and their squad. I think that his confidence has risen since that tournament. That 200 combo, that's
Yeah.
that'll literally be the biggest strength. There's a lot of pumpers in that group, as long as they don't get lost.
Well said. Well said. Let's talk about Team Busty Maiden first. Next. And we can start with Jonesing, because I know he works a lot with Sadari. And when I saw Sadari sign up for this tournament as a tank, I thought to myself, does he know how to tank? And that's the question. Can he lead his team to victory as a tank?
Well, absolutely. So with the small amount of time that I've spent doing keys with Sadari, I've also done plenty of things keys, whatever, on his warrior that he's currently gearing out to actually take over the main tank position for our current push group. Because from what I understand, he actually used to main tank up until, I can't remember the time period, but up until I believe before this X Pack. But he's used to main tanking, so he at least understands the what's the word, the the fundamentals,
Right.
pretty much, of tanking, of what it is. But then also it's like then you have to take into account as well that I've been pushing high keys with him, and for anyone that's actually pushing high keys, anything that's like 20, 21, 22, 23, you have to understand not only just your class, but what every other class can bring to the table as well. And that way you can figure out how to handle certain pools, stuff like that. And he has that knowledge. And so, honestly, him tanking is... I'm actually pretty surprised that he didn't decide just to tank on his warrior or DK, but he's actually going full board, and I feel like that's going to be a pretty fucking dangerous.
So he's going on his DH.
Yeah, he's going on his DH from what I understand. Which his DH is extremely geared.
It is, and I know he does well on anything he plays.
Yeah.
But has he tanked recently?
Yeah.
Does he know the routes? Okay.
Mm-hmm. But it's
Nice.
also, I mean, it's not even just knowing the routes, but it's also like you said, he's someone that knows how to play any kind of class well. So
Mhm.
to me, even if he didn't know the routes like per se right now, I guarantee he'll do the research. I mean,
Right.
that comes with the mentality, and he definitely has it. So that's gonna be a little scary or whatnot. And on top of just how geared his Demon Hunter is, definitely is more geared than mine when I was tanking. So
Right. So let me throw the next question. It's about Busty Maiden, Rodrigo, and then I'll let Artie make comments about his own team. So Rodrigo, what stands out to you about this team as far as like their utility? You got Zoe the Paladin as a healer. You got Bartol as warrior. I'm assuming. You got Artie as a balance druid, and you got Sam as a DH on his demon hunter. We're assuming.
what is Bardon again?
I think he's going to play as warrior.
Which like what is this warrior again?
Oh,
Sorry.
you know what? I'm sorry. I think he's bringing his
Mage?
rogue. No, I remember Sam talking
Oh,
about
you're
wanting
right.
him to bring his rogue. I know he does have a warrior, but I think we're going to expect to see him on the rogue, which will also be a game changer. What do you think about that, Rodrigo? Does anything stands out in this comp to you?
Well, I must say that if he's bringing as a rogue in this tournament will be mandatory because the ethics you'll be able to pull a lot of things with boss, even obelisks, and having a rogue make it available for most groups because you can use drought to escape instead of use the obelisk
Mm-hmm.
and do the obelisk with the last boss. So if he's bringing a rogue, I'm pretty sure that Sedari and Sam will be able to pop up damage to kill like 2 or 3 obelisks with the last boss. And Zoe is definitely one of the best healer in this guild,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to keep everyone alive. I really feel that Busty Maiden is a really strong team.
Absolutely, I agree.
I gotta say the balance druid. I'm a little concerned about the balance druid. I know they have some flat damage when it comes to big groups. It'll be interesting to see how you, Artie, will deal with that. And what are your thoughts on your team?
I personally think that we're going to be as strong as our weakest link. Um, if Sidari can step up to the level where he needs to be as a tank, then the ceiling is quite high for Busty Ladies. I personally believe that Sam is tired of losing early in this tournament, and the Mythic Plus Extravaganza, and the first one he lost in the first round and he was done. And the first PIMP-T, he went 0-2 with his team and he was done. And I know that he is looking to redeem himself.
Are
He went.
you? Go ahead.
I personally I won. I was part of the winning team on the Mythic Plus Extravaganza, something that I take very much pride in. Uh,
Yeah.
I played as a member of a team following an okay leader, but we're not talking about the past. We're talking about today. I believe that Zoe's power, as my comrades here have said, as one of the strongest healers in the guild, a proven Mythic Plus healer, one that is confident in voicing her status, whether she can pull more, whether to slow up. Her chemistry with Sadari is what's going to really determine the strength of this group. The balance druid in this group, however, I do believe that that's going to be the weakest link if the group decides to pull big. Um, there's only so many times that druid is going to be able to pop
Hey man, don't talk bad about
their
yourself.
cooldown.
Your class just isn't that great.
Celestial alignment. Yeah. No,
And
I
for
mean,
it, I know that last hero, not last hero, just my name has a tilde on it. He might be looking into utilizing some AOE corruptions as opposed to his current build,
I was
so
about
as
to
to make
ask you.
so as to
Yeah.
make up for the deep loss in DPS. Uh, how much corruption is that druid going to add on himself? 2, 3 ranks of it. Um, How much grid is he going to sacrifice? Is he going to sacrifice haste? It'd really be interesting to see. However, it's all going to go into Dari, whether this ship will sink or swim, sailed by Samster, the captain.
I like how you're talking about yourself in the third person. I was going to ask you if you were going to change anything, but we'll leave that to see. The meta slaves. Oh, man. What do you think is going through Small Girl's head right now?
Who is that directed at?
I think I'll leave that. Yeah. I'm going to say you, Jonesing, because I think you know Small Girl better than any of us. I know he's really good at what he does, and he seems like he's very competitive.
Yeah. I mean,
So
he
he's
is
got.
pretty,
Go
he
ahead.
is pretty competitive, but at the same time, the mentality is a little different coming from last tournament to this tournament
Mhm.
for him, just because of the level of the basis of the competition itself. But so, just from my perspective, he's kind of just going in just to have fun.
Yeah.
And if they are successful, because from what I understand, he plans on playing Frost instead of Fire.
Really?
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean,
You-
I think he's going in just to have fun and just kind of meme it, I guess. And if they do well, they do well.
The meme it. I like
Yeah.
it.
So
So
if he's deciding to play as Frost, I agree with him because as Fire can shine too much in lower keys because dads die before the combust does effect. So
Hmm.
I think the play is really Frost.
Absolutely. At the lower keys, you just don't have the effectiveness from your ignite and such because everything just dies too quickly. And that, I mean, granted, that also comes with the overall damage output that your group has. So if you don't have the output, then okay, fire can be substantial and can shine. But if you have, which I mean, the group's kind of in between of potential and what they can put out. I mean, Argush again, a Boomkin.
right.
Boomkins are, no offense, just they're trash at AoE. It's just how it is. And
Yeah.
especially at lower keys, their dots don't tick for anything. Like there's no substance unless you're pulling 15 mobs. You know?
Yeah. I mean, if I were Argush, I would be stacking tons of haste for smaller mobs and bigger for more AOE
Yeah. So it'll
stuff like
definitely be
that.
interesting. But you never know. Like
Yeah. Now here's
it
something.
go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry. So
No, you're good.
Civ, most people don't know Civ. I know Civ has lots of tunes in her arsenal, and they're all pretty decently geared. I think she will probably bring a rogue, but I honestly have no idea what we'll see her bring. And that is something else that could bring utility to that team if I think Small Girl, the captain, makes those calls. Um, Grim has been in every tournament, PIMP-T tournament, and she's of course our Raid 2 heroic leader. She knows what she's doing. She'll be on her Demon Hunter, tanking. But it'll be interesting to see how that team gets together and gets their jive on. You know what I'm saying? And
I
then
personally believe that. I'm sorry, Jack. I think that
go
out of
ahead.
all the groups, this team will be the one team that hasn't played together the most.
Right. Well, Grim and Argush were on a team together last time.
Yes,
Uh,
but they also unfortunately didn't get very far, and I don't know how much practice they got. Argush himself doesn't run that many mythics. Um, Maybe
yeah.
he gets every now and then he'll get on to do his 15. Is that gonna come back and hurt him? The lack of knowledge that maybe some of the other players may have. Um, Civ, like you said, she has an arsenal of players, and whether she's a more casual player or not, she's been there in many different classes as a healer, as a tank, as a DPS. My question would be whether small girl's competitiveness will be able to taper off to match Argush and Civ. Morgan, don't forget about your healer. Last tournament he played as a DPS, but he is primarily a healer.
Mm-hmm.
Holy is his main role. I don't think they're going to struggle there. I think that between Grim and Morgan, they have a strong foundation. It'll just be up to the DPS to see how well they can mesh.
Yeah, I agree. And let's see it. The abortion survivalists. He sucks. Can he tank? I mean, what were you thinking, Jonesing? What was going through your mind? I think you didn't really know who he was when you picked him. Is that right?
Well, no, I mean I was the last pick. I mean, and
Yeah.
no offense to him, but again, I've had other people look him up, and I looked him up. I believe last night when I saw that he was listed into it. I know
Mhm.
nothing about him, and obviously it's like just kind of in my nature to look people up and do my research on like what they're capable of.
Right.
I mean, it's something that I do every day, pushing keys and stuff like that. Um, and I I don't know. It's kind of an enigma to me.
Right.
Uh, I've already reached out and started communicating with them to set up some kind of practice. But at least, like to me, he seems coachable, teachable.
Yeah.
It seems like he at least has somewhat of the skill that can be molded as long as there's not bad habits. Again, I haven't played with them, and it seems like no one really has played with them that I have talked to.
Well,
Uh,
you and Rodrigo are two very excellent tanks, and I don't think I would be too worried about coaching him or, you know, your thoughts on that, Rodrigo. What do you think?
Well, as John said, he looks like a teachable guy if he don't have too many experience as a tank. We are pretty sure that we can help on that. We can do callouts about the pools. We can, but the most important thing is it's having some practice before the tournament, so we can show to him what he can do, because we can do way better if we work together.
Yeah. I'm gonna be watching this team. This is the team I'm worried about right here, to be honest with you. What about the double priests? I mean, I'm assuming Tinest is gonna play Shadow, and I assume that Guzzle, and I can't wait to see this. I hope he plays Disc.
oh, he will.
He
Yeah.
definitely will.
He will.
I'm not doubting his holy abilities at all.
He hates
But
holy. He will never play holy.
I was about to say that he
Yeah.
seems to much, much, much prefer discipline over anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
well, and that was one of the reasons why, more so it's like I kind of was, yeah. No offense to K-Suck or Kalik or whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of given the tank that I was given. But at the same time, y'all messed up giving me Guzzle. Yeah, you gave my push groups healer to me.
Right.
And so it's like, so that in the aspect, I was like, all right, well, my tank's decided. So I guess I'll get my the healer that I'm most comfortable with, that I trust the most. And it's nothing against Zoe or Andrani, both great healers. Obviously, Druid Shogun, healed my group for the
I
first
defend-
victory.
Right.
But it's like, hey, the devil I know is better than the devil I don't, right?
Right. Is that power group?
Yeah. So, and then obviously, once I saw like Rodrigo's, I'm like, yeah, well, why wouldn't I? And with Tanis, obviously, it's like, so he's one of my in real life friends, and I've been trying to coach him and really trying to get him to understand how to shadow DPS. And as all of us saw on the last Rod in progression that we were doing,
Yeah.
including downing him, it's clicked,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see it. I'm stoked. I feel like a proud father.
Yeah.
My little baby's growing up, and so I'm excited. And I feel like they, even though like Shadow Priest isn't really a very strong um, pick for a non-fortified low key week, I still have other other strategies in mind of how I'm going to abuse the fact that we have 2 Shadow Priests. Or 2
Yeah,
priests, sorry.
2
2
priests. I mean,
Double grips, extra
yeah.
feathers, bubbles.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's 2 more questions left I want to get to. Who is the strongest team? And I want to throw this to Rodrigo first. And why do you think they're the strongest team?
Well, I feel like my team is a really strong team because we have, as John said, we have a synergy between uh, a push from a push group from our guild. That's
Okay.
Jonathan Guzzle. They are the same group. They are pushing higher keys. They know each other. They are already trying do some things to optimize keys. So I feel like that experience put together will help the group to grow and do a better job.
Okay, so
But
go
beside
ahead.
our group, I think I feel like Bust Maiden will be the other strong group here. Basically, because the Sedari experience and the possibilities with, as you said, maybe a Rogue on Bertolting
Right.
on the Bust Maiden team.
Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you, besides your own team, who would be your number one threat? Okay. Jonesing, what about you?
Out of more so of looking at the teams or whatnot, and I try like obviously I have to be semi privy to my own team. That's I mean I built it the way it is. Um, but I don't know. I'm kind of tossed up between Busty Maidens and honestly Ray Charles. Because with Ray Charles, because of Deborah's performance, especially what I've seen and how he's performing in Raid, and
Mm-hmm.
you know being neck and neck with me for at least half the fight. Um, sorry, I had to throw that backhanded comment in there. uh, but definitely like how we were talking about Double Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
For a week that you're not necessarily contained by the size of your pull besides of what your tank can handle. And you know, obviously it's going to be a big part on how big you can pull is how much necrotic and how quickly you can get out or CC. But you're going to have, you know, 2 binding shots. Like you guys are going to be able to pull if you're using the potential that I see. You guys are going to be fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does do hunters bring massive cleave, but they also bring really strong single target. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have Thrall on top of it, which okay, Unholy Death Knight. That's all you need to say. I don't know, like you guys are gonna be pretty scary, but it's like we were talking about earlier as well that with the Busty Maiden, like eh, the talent is there. It's definitely there. I mean, with Artie, it's like, yeah, I mean, sorry, bro. You just don't play a class that really I have respect for in Mythic Plus. I'm like, well, we'll see what you can do. And Bart, I've just have seen plenty of rogues that are just mediocre, and rogues definitely can make or break a key as well, though.
So I hear shots fired out to Busty Maiden. I think they're gonna come at you with a vengeance. Some shit talking going on already.
Hey,
I like it.
I'm looking at it from the outside. I'm giving a proper examination, whatever. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously it's like Sadari, Sam, Zoe, solid. Like for Mythic Plus, I mean, obviously I've been doing Mythic Plus for a long time. I love doing Mythic Plus, so I have to examine like depending on classes. And if you have shit classes for Mythic Plus, then probably not going to do very well. But you never know.
Okay. Artie, what do you think? Calling out your team.
I think Jonesing is firing a lot of blanks. It's
The trophy that I have
it's
definitely is in blank.
Oh, here we go.
excuse me 1 second.
So
Oh,
Where's my
hello
swamp
there.
master?
You're here. No, I mean I
Well,
have to give respect or credit where credit's due. I think the abortion survivalist, the experience is there. If K-Sucks can get it together as a tank, then I do think that they might be the team to beat. Uh, Rodrigo knows how to play his DPS class very well. Jonesing is average at best, but he puts in good effort. And and I think Gusso is going to be able to make up for the potential DPS loss that group might struggle with their captain.
yeah, DPS filler. Yeah,
uh, Ray Charles groups. If Debron Cat can stay on track, you see what I did there, and continue to pull the numbers that he's been pulling as of late. I think with him and Brule and Corral, they're gonna have no trouble with the trash. I think that the Ray Charles team may be the one that I put my money on when it comes to the gambling.
Mm,
Um, if that Druid and Busted Maiden can figure out an AOE build, because it's gonna be a primary trash kind of a tournament. Uh,
yeah.
Samster is
I'll
gonna be
do
able
it
to.
for you. Put 9 TDs on, and then you'll do some DPS.
I should think about 5 or 6. Samster's gonna be able to do DPS just fine. Bartol, I'm really curious to see which tune Samster wants me to bring for this tournament. Um,
Yeah.
but if Sidari can get the routes down pat and the knowledge of the dungeon, I don't think they'll struggle.
What else do you have in your arsenal besides a balanced druid?
A holy priest.
Hmm.
I also have a destruction warlock that I haven't played much as of late. Um, I can't quite get it to where I want to, as
Yeah.
far as an enjoyable class. And mind you, my druid is meant to be a primary healer, so him
Yeah.
going balance for our mythic raids and our tournament is
Yeah.
it's a secondary spec. It's something that has been worked on. Am I able to push keys as balance? Yes. Is it easy? No, by far, very difficult.
I've seen you
Um,
push big numbers in balance.
Yeah.
um,
So here is one thing I will give credit where credit is due, because obviously I do see that out of the boomkins in our A team raid group, you do pump. So it's my shit talking has nothing to do with single target. It's more so of how your class is in Mythic Plus.
where'd you go?
Oh, I'm just looking at some grass right now.
All right. Well, as far as yeah, here we go. As far as who I think is the strongest team, besides Ray Charles,
Oh,
I too am gonna have to look at Busty Maidens. I think that Sadari is pretty lethal. Nice. Sadari is pretty lethal. You got he knows his route. I think he'll be an amazing tank. I think he's gonna come out and show the rest of the guild that he can tank. Sam, in raid, Sam usually is so preoccupied with calling strats that you rarely get to see the numbers that he can push. And I have run keys with him before, and he pushes really big numbers. You're talking like 90, 100k overall damage by the end of the dungeon. So that'll be interesting to see. And then, of course, I don't think Sadari has anything to worry about with Zoe healing him. So I think that will allow Sadari to pull bigger packs and bigger packs and bigger packs for that team to DPS him down. So I'm looking forward to checking them out. And then
Absolutely.
also, yeah. And then as far as people we didn't mention, I know Xylov and Menix on Nerds Unite with Victorian and Drawny, same thing. You got the BM Hunter, that hectic ad cleave, along with the Rogue. I look forward to watching that team also going big. especially if it's like 13, 14 keys. I also see Victoria pulling really big numbers. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not he goes for more of a toughness spec or stays as this weird experimental healing pally spec that he's been playing recently, because he will throw off heals a lot. So
He is playing with his brother. I think they're gonna take bigger risks than we've ever seen them pull.
yeah. So quick story time before we sign off. Why the name Abortion Survivalists?
So a lot of my in real life friends, we have played WoW together on and off since like junior high. Played games in general with each other. Like there's about 14 of us that we all graduated together, or at least we're like somewhat close to graduate, like year above, year below, whatever. Um, like so we had started a guild. I can't remember what expansion, but because it all just kind of blends together. But yeah, we had just as a joke, we were like, okay, like let's name the guild Abortion Survivalists. See how long it takes to get reported, and then we all like doing some pretty like gnarly prog, like honestly, pretty impressive stuff as a group of friends, which is honestly pretty rare. Uh, and yeah, like we held on to it for a pretty substantial amount of time before it got reported. So it's always been a joke between all of us, and when we're like, "Yo, you remember Abortion Survivalists? Remember how long it took for it to get reported?" and yeah, like it. So it was just funny to have that kind of power seat of like, what do I want to name this? And the first thing that came to mind was Abortion Survivalists. So shout out to my friend, like my real life friends, like Kevo Mage, she's in the guild, and a bunch of my other homies and stuff. So
Yeah. Awesome. So just some closing comments, and we'll go around the horn. Your final thoughts, and we'll start with Rodrigo, and then we'll go Jonesing, myself, and I'll let Artie give the last comments. So
Well, I feel like this competition will be one of the most fair. We have the most fair groups that we ever had. We have no groups with a dominance between the others, and no groups with only low players. We have a really good balance here, and the ethics will allow us to work and do things that didn't happen on the first tournaments. So I expect really fast keys on this one.
yeah, Jonesing.
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. At the same time, I mean, my competitive self and just how I like to exert myself. Obviously, like to push keys quite a bit. So I was kind of like bummed that we weren't doing at least 15s or whatnot, you know, this go around. But the way the teams are built right now, I'm actually like pretty excited. Also slightly worried, but we'll see. I think that it is like Rodrigo was saying that the fairness of how teams were built are, you know, compared to the last one, more reasonable, which is awesome. Because this is obviously a tournament for fun. If we were doing it for like a real competition, then would have been built that way, you know. Um, but yeah, like I'm excited. I had a lot of fun last tournament, and I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see that it may not be 15s or 20s, but even with smaller keys, there's some inherent risk with thinking that, oh, these mobs aren't as dangerous as the 15s or the 20s. Let's pull more, and find yourself in a situation that can be compromising.
And
So
that is
it's still a lot of fun.
where the comfortability of the tank and the healer comes in mind. Because if the tank can pull it and he understands that he knows what he's capable of, That is what's going to make this tournament, because anyone can do DPS. Well, not anyone, but anyone can cleave. And it's really easy to maximize on that, but having a tank that understands how to pull that properly, I feel like is what's going to make and break and win this tournament.
Right on. Artie, final thoughts. Take us out.
I'm very excited about the fact that the keys are not 15. To disagree with you, Jonesing. I know you weren't with us for the Mythic Plus Extravaganza, our first tournament, but when we did tens, the difference between matches were seconds. I remember Rodrigo had Andrani as a healer, and they were mass pulling in Motherload, and they had 28, almost 30 deaths of constant stacking and rolling of 7 to 8 stacks and 9 stacks of bursting, where Andrani's pulling more than rabbits out of his hat, and
That's
they
awesome.
won. They won by 7 seconds uh, on a team that essentially got put together right after the first round, because at the time we didn't have a complete team. They literally whatever the teams that lost, players were used as fillers. They had no time to practice. Go, and they were. It's a 7 second win. I know Sam's team in the first round they lost by 18 seconds. Another game was decided by 8 seconds. So these smaller keys, well, yes, they're gonna be easier. They're gonna eliminate some of the strength that the perceived stronger teams have, and bring it down to a more even playing field, to where I do think you're gonna see some of these closer matchups. You'll uh, you'll see that the organizers have put a special little twist here and there for going fast. I do think that the team who practices the best surgical precision is going to be able to create that extra second or two between pulls to give themselves that slight win. I do like the fact that this is going to be a round robin. Everybody plays each other. Everybody's going to at least get 4 games. Uh, as long as you're not the number 5 seed, you get to make it to the semifinals. The
You're
the
cute.
I didn't mean you specifically. I meant as in you as in a team.
Oh, I thought you were
But
saying number 5 team. I'm like, yo, my team's number 5. What's up?
well, maybe you need to do some self-analysis.
I got confidence.
But like overall, like I'm very excited about this. I know when the gambling sheet comes out, I know that the odds are going to reflect the strength of the teams, um, and I don't know. I just think the main organizer Jack Meyer has been doing a really good job of this.
I appreciate it, guys. It's time to wrap things up. Thank you all if you've listened to us talk shit this long. Thank you, and look forward to seeing y'all. Take care.